So you are just starting out with Davinci Resolve or transitioning from different editing software. Congratulations. It's one of the most powerful video editing tools on the market. You are using the same software that Hollywood studios use. Because it's so powerful, it looks complicated. When you first start, it can feel like you just got in the cockpit of a commercial airliner. There are buttons everywhere, multiple pages at the bottom, and a timeline that looks like something that NASA would use. It's incredibly easy to get overwhelmed, get frustrated, and want to quit. I know the feeling. Once you get past that initial learning curve, Davinci Resolve is an absolute dream to work with. In this video, I will break down the tips for absolute beginners. These aren't complex, advanced tutorials on how to build 3D CGI models. These are fundamental, practical tips that will save your sanity, speed up your workflow, and help you make incredible videos right away. I just wish that I was given this advice when I started using Davinci. So let's begin. In no particular order. Start with the free version. When you go to Blackmagic Design's website, you'll see two versions. Davinci Resolve, which is free, and Davinci Resolve Studio, which costs around $300 US. Don't think that you need the paid Studio version in order to create professional looking work. The free version of Davinci Resolve is hands down the most generous, free software on the market today. It isn't a trial, and it doesn't put a watermark over your work when you export it. You will get 90% of the features that the full-scale Studio version offers. You get the full edit page, the cut page, advanced color grading tools, the Fairlight audio suite, Fusion for visual effects, and with Davinci Resolve 21, the new photo editing feature is included. You can export up to 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. For 99% of creators, starting on YouTube, TikTok or client work, the free version is more than enough. The Studio version adds things like AI-powered voice isolation, automatic subtitles, advanced noise reduction, magic mask, neural engine features like smart tracking, and support for frame rates over 60 frames per second or resolutions higher than 4K. Given time, you may well want the extra features. Upgrade then. But for now, start for free. Learn the ropes and let the software prove its value to you before you buy the Studio version. Use a bigger screen. This is the most important change that I have personally made. Now that you've downloaded the software, let's talk about your physical setup. Davinci Resolve is an incredibly visual dense program, and it's great to have all of your tools on the screen. Trying to edit a project on a 13-inch laptop screen is like trying to paint a masterpiece through a keyhole. You can do it, but it's a far more pleasant, not to mention faster experience when you can see the full canvas. Your timeline gets squashed, your viewer window is tiny, and you'll constantly be scrolling up and down just to see your different tracks. If you use a laptop, plug it into an external monitor. A 24-inch or bigger monitor will completely transform your editing experience. If you have to use a smaller screen, Resolve has some built-in features to help you optimize your screen real estate. Let me show you on the screen. Look at the top right and top left corners of your screen. See the buttons for Media Pool, Effects and Inspector. If you click them, they toggle those panels on and off. When you're actively cutting your footage together, turn off the Media Pool and Effects panels. See how much bigger the timeline and the playback monitor get. During playback, another good shortcut for small screens is to press Ctrl and F on a Windows PC or Command and F on a Mac. This puts your video into full screen playback, so you can actually see the details of your edit without clutter. Press it again to jump right back to work. When you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see 8 different icons. These are called pages, and they represent a linear post-production workflow. Media is for importing, photo is for photo editing, cut is for fast rough cuts, edit is for traditional editing, Fusion is for animating, Colour is for colour grading, Fairlight is for audio, and Deliver is for exporting. When you start out, ignore almost all of them and concentrate purely on the edit page. You do not need to touch Fusion or Fairlight to make a great video. The edit page is the powerhouse of Davinci. It is designed to handle most of everything you need to do. Let's take a closer look at the edit page. From here, you can import your footage directly into the media pool window. You can drag it onto the timeline, you can cut it, trim it, add transitions, adjust your audio levels, and even do basic colour adjustments. Think of the cut page as a hyper-specific tool for fast pacing, and pages like Fusion and Fairlight as advanced speciality rooms. Until you feel completely confident cutting a video from start to finish, dragging clips around and syncing audio right here on the edit page, just pretend those other tabs don't exist. It will lower your brain overload immensely. Changing the timeline resolution for editing. If your PC is struggling to cope with Davinci Resolve, you can reduce the load on your hardware by lowering your timeline resolution. Open the master settings by clicking the gear, the project settings icon at the bottom right of the Davinci Resolve interface. From the menu, locate Timeline Resolution under the Master Settings tab. Find the Timeline Resolution drop-down. Select a lower resolution, change it to 1920 by 1080 or lower if you like. When your project is finished, you can increase the resolution in the Deliver page before you export your finished work. Number 5 is all about asset management. If your media pool looks like a digital junk drawer, where video clips, background music, sound effects and voiceovers are all floating around together, your editing is going to take twice as long. You need to create bins in your media pool. Go over to your media pool in the top left corner of the edit page. Right click in the empty space and select New Bin. I highly recommend creating a standardised file structure for every project. Create a bin called A-roll for your main camera files. Create a second one called Audio for your music and sound effects. Create a third one called B-roll. You can create as many bins as you like to keep your project organised. Davinci Resolve includes hundreds of built-in transitions, title presets, audio effects and video filters. When you open up the effects library panel on the left, it's incredibly easy to get lost clicking through menus like Open Effects, Transitions and Fusion Titles, trying to find what you want, and it's the same with the media pool. So rather than scrolling through everything, look for the tiny magnifying glass at the top of these panels. If you have a big project with hundreds of clips and know your file is named Cockpit, just type Cockpit into the media pool search bar. Resolve will instantly hide everything else, saving you enormous time. If you want to add a smooth cut transition to a video clip, don't open the menus. Just click the search bar in the effects panel, type smooth, and look at that. It instantly filters everything out and hands you the smooth cut transition. The inspector panel is your control center. Mastering this single panel will unlock many of the adjustments you will ever need to make to your videos. Let's click on a clip on our timeline and open the inspector panel over on the top right hand side of the screen. When you select any clip on your timeline and open the inspector, it reveals all the hidden properties of that specific piece of media. Under the video tab, you have your transform tools. This is where you can adjust the zoom to scale your clip up and down, the position, X and Y coordinates, to move the clip around the screen, and the rotation angle allows you to alter the angle. If you scroll down further, you'll see cropping tools to shave off the edges of your video, and opacity sliders to make a clip semi-transparent. But it doesn't stop at video. If you click on an audio clip, the inspector automatically changes to show you audio controls, allowing you to adjust the volume slider, pan the audio left or right, or add a built-in equalizer. If you're working with titles or effects, the inspector is where you go to change the font style, type out your text, or tweak the settings of that effect. Instead of looking through complex menus to change how a clip looks or sounds, just remember, select the clip, look at the inspector. You can change a lot here. To tell your story, in every project that you make, you will need B-roll. And unless you plan to spend thousands of dollars on the right video footage or photos, you need to use free stock. The two places that I go are Pexels and Pixabay. Both of these websites offer millions of stunning high-resolution, royalty-free stock photos and video clips. If you need a drone shot or a man drinking coffee, you just type it into the search bar, select the video format you want and download it completely free. You can drag these clips straight into your Davinci Resolve media pool, drop them right over your timeline as B-roll and instantly elevate your video without spending a dime. There you have it, 8 essential tips for beginners starting out in Davinci Resolve. Remember, every single professional editor you see online started exactly where you are today. Confused by the interface, they made messy timelines and they had to look up basic tutorials. Don't rush the process, stick to the edit page, keep your files organised, focus on the story and practice. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more practical editing guides and drop a comment down below. Good luck, get out there and start creating.